I definitely want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us. And I really hope that by kind of reviewing what we went over the previous session with Hitachi and Ductless warranty, and then kind of throwing in some of the new information with how to file claims, that you are more familiar with these processes and that you can become more of an expert. Just a few things before we get started. We'll definitely open it up for questions at the end, like always, but please feel free to unmute yourself, raise your hand, put a question in the chat if you have something before that time. And just a disclaimer, we will be kind of demonstrating some of the content in a testing site. So just keep in mind that some functionality and some screens may not look exactly the same. And we are recording this session, so if you do not wish to be recorded, you may exit at this time, but I will make that recording available to you later this week. And without further ado, please join me in welcoming our subject matter expert, Richard Hernandez, Hitachi Ductless Warranty Manager.
Hello, everyone. I will share my screen here.
All yours.
Awesome. Good deal. So here, of course, we're going to start with the little tutorial that I have just to start the presentation for Ductless Warranty. It is under the Solution Navigator site, and keynote not to sign in when you're, to sign in, but not to sign in when you do the serial number confirmation. So hopefully not to confuse. I'm going to go back and forth on the sign in and logging on and signing back in, only because the confirmation on serial numbers, there's validation when you are signed in and it catches your profile, and that's the only reasoning. Most of the time, or a lot of times, it will not capture that serial number to confirm under your profile. So that's all. That's why it's always I always got everybody to just sign off to confirm serial numbers. So here for Solution Navigator tutorial guide for Ductless Systems products. This is training manuals intended for the following users: the distribution channels with the warranty administrators. We have the solutionnavigator.com website. It does work better under Chrome. It just flows a little better. To be prepared for the claims, make sure your equipment has been registered as a system before attempting to submit a claim. Have all the necessary, of course, this is just a list item on what to prepare for claims, right? Have all the necessary information ready before submitting a claim. All claims, we do require documentation if possible. A lot of those, of course, are POs and invoice numbers when possible. I understand a lot of the branches have stock, and that stock was bought a while back, and to replace, you just basically grab from stock. Sometimes that is difficult to get. We will definitely do the communication back and forth once the claim has been submitted. Once we have that submission, when we review, we just don't reject every claim without a PO or document. We do communicate with the submitter, and if it's possible, to grab that PO or pricing that was used for that part. And the bottom here, examples of documentation, is copy of the original invoice from factory, that is from JCH to the distributor, for any like replacement parts or replacement equipment sold to the service contractor. PO used to purchase the factory from JCH. Of course, just what I just mentioned, the POs or invoices. Documents, if you do have the documents, they are uploaded towards the end of that claim. There is an uploaded document section or button, and it'll just do like any other upload website prompt. You browse through your files and select the file. Select it. On compressors, we did used to have a special compressor claims, but we since then are identifying compressors as a part. So all claims are submitted as machines, so as machine claims. So the compressor will be considered as a part for this. In the future, we will do a little bit more of a compressor only submission, and of course that's down the pipeline. We are hoping to move to streamline to Warranty Navigator as JCI does, and it'll work seamlessly, we're hoping, across. So hopefully in the near future, it's coming around the corner. So at this point, we do not have compressor submissions. It'll be as a part under the machine claim, or considered as a part under the machine claim. SI claims, they're the service inquiry. I believe this will be the vouchers for the replacement units. SI claims will be approved or not approved. SI numbers will be approved by tech support only. Once you get an SI, then you can proceed with the SI claim through the distributor. Our claims equipment for equipment concessions. Field technicians must call the VRF tech support, of course, to report the equipment failure, and they'll troubleshoot with them on the trouble equipment or the failed equipment, and they'll more or less create a case for you. Once the cases have been filled, they will ask for instance, if it's a failed coil or a leak, they will ask for a small recording or a picture of that coil leak, and then they'll upload it. Once they receive that proof of leak, more or less, they'll officially issue the SI to the contractor. The contractor then takes it to the distributor for the unit replacement and process for warranty. So here I'm going to go live. This is where it starts to go into the site. To begin a claim, as I mentioned, the validation here on a serial number, you go through warranty, warranty verification, application, warranty verification, and you'll get the pop-up for a serial number.
And this is logged in, correct?
This is logged in, and
Okay.
I'm going to show you the error that you get. I believe this will error out because it's not in the same account. So
Okay.
this is the error you will get if it's not validated. Let me see if it'll give us this error. Yeah, I apologize. It is not working correctly. That is not the cue we're supposed to get. Let me go back here. Here we go. So this is how we validate before submitting a claim, right? I am not signed in. So we validate the claim under warranty. Everybody, this is the open site, so everybody should have this options under Ductless Systems, not signed into the site. So we select warranty verification. A keynote that the Solution Navigator site, sometimes the copy and paste feature works, but it's very sketchy. Sometimes I think most of us that deal with the Solution Navigator site kind of know. So always make sure if you are using that copy and paste feature to delete anything in front or behind the serial number. But this is a validation, and here's what you will get once you enter search. You'll get the warranty specifications of this. A serial number, and that's actually to validate. You do have the option to download the certificate as well, but that is signed off, or if you're signed in, it'll give you an error here, and it'll say incorrect serial number or no details found, some sort of that, but it will be an error that the serial number hasn't been registered. So that is how we validate. So we know this is registered, so we're good to proceed. And this is where we'll proceed with the, once we know that we did the verification of the serial number, that's good to go. We log back in, we sign in back into the Solution Navigator to start creating our claim. Hover over applications, and then under applications, select warranty, and then under ductless systems, you'll create a claim is the second option or the fourth option you select. Here you'll have the preliminary entry here right above save. Everything with asterisk must be filled in. Um, as I mentioned, all claims are machined, so a serial number is required. And you do have the drop down, but by default it's selected as machine. A PDI claim, just to mention the PDI, it is selected and also the PDI is submitted through us by guidance by us, VRF warranty. Uh, these are special claims when project is in the middle of phase one per se, and this claim must be processed. So that's when we'll help the submitter do a PDI claim. There's notes that we have to put on our end on PDI. And what PDI does is actually with the serial number not being registered, it bypasses the registration validation is what that does. So here we'll start typing. The next step is typing in the serial number. And you will see that there is a drop down. There it is. Um, some some of some of our browsers, they have their own history drop down. Make sure that you know the difference between the server drop down and the browser software drop down to move forward there. Now, to not create another claim here, I'm going to also go through the service inquiry number, more or less a unit replacement also. Um, but we'll go through that one, and then we'll add a part here also, which is the same minus the service inquiry, and it should populate for us with no problem. When you do have a service inquiry number, just to go through here, you type in 3 percentage signs is the next step whenever you're submitting an SI number. And it should give us the drop down of that SI number that was given through tech support for the concession. And once it's here, that means it has been approved and processed by them and crossed over to the serial number that's tied, a failed serial number, which is a failed equipment. So in this instance, on this submission, I am showing both. I'm showing the submission for a concession and a part, which the part comes down on the further section. And you notice when you select from the drop-down, you'll see that some of the other options have been filled in. The date of failure and the date of repair, those asterisks that need to be filled in, these remain the same as there is a workaround because of the date of failure, and it all goes back to our serial number registration as we continue to validate serial numbers for customers when it needs to be registered. And also it is tied to the factory warranty that we offer. So a lot of our equipment is not registered. Just to give a little bit of explanation on why the date of failure and date of repair is kind of a workaround, because when we offer the factory warranty and the serial number hasn't been registered, it needs to be registered at that time. Those dates don't match on the registration, and that's the reason it creates an error. So the workaround is to leave those dates as is. The cause of part here, it's also a workaround as the database that we have doesn't really contain every single part that we have that's tied to our equipment. And as we get new equipment on our database, those are accumulated throughout time as far as the parts. It just takes forever for those servers to update. So the workaround here is for the mini splits or the ORAC or the Hitachi brand, type in DL1 and just select any from the drop down here. It has no relevance to the part bin submitted for a claim here. Once everything has been entered, as far as on I call this the preliminary entry from under claim basic information. Once everything has been filled in with asterisk, you're good to save. Once you get the green box or next save, if you at this point, if you do get errors, definitely give us a screenshot, and then we can move into it. When you have the if you have an error here, it will not produce a claim number, right? So give us your serial number and what you're filing for, and if there is an SI, go ahead and give us the SI, and of course a screenshot of the error, and then we can support you in why that error is happening, or we can move forward for the next step. A lot of times, the serial number profile is the main cause of those errors. We'll just update that serial number profile to match your profile where you're logged in over here on the right, and then it'll move forward once we submit it on our end, once we update it on our end. So when I mentioned that this is a service inquiry, the reason I did that, not to do two claims or to confuse the presentation. When we do two claims, you can do a unit, a regular claim, which is essentially a part. So because once you select save and create a claim number, we cannot go back to the preliminary entry and edit. We don't have that right either. Basically because it's tied to a serial number and validation and confirmation of this claim. It's all tied to this. So that's the reason why we can't edit that. And that was also the reason me moving forward with the service inquiry. So first, when you do have a service inquiry or both, if you have a unit replacement and a part, but at the beginning of this, we're going to enter a part. This is the only difference of a part versus a unit, is that you have an SI number. Other than that, it's no difference. So we will enter a part, and under install parts and accessories, the part number is the actual part number. And again, on the asterisk, on the first two sections on a part, it's going to be the first section. You'll have a drop down from the server, select it from there. There we go. This part number does not have a model number. The model number is there for the SI or unit replacement. This becomes a little confusing, and I'll show you when we do the SI because of the verbiage for model number versus part number. But once I selected from the drop down, you notice that it gave me the description. No price part here yet. This will come across on the next section. The quantity would be 1, labor hours, if any. I'm just going to select 3. On the labor hours, select as many as your customer is asking for. But of course, once submitted, we do our review and processing. We review the policy and what that policy allows us to give the customer for labor, and we'll max those labor hours or credit to the customer. Once everything with asterisks have been filled in, select save. Once you see the list after I call it the circle of death there. Once that line list item has been entered, the next step right away is to select price fetch. And every time you add a part, you select price fetch. That way it'll update that price when it comes over. You'll get the price updated successfully. From time to time, you may not get a list item list, and just continue to select price fetch. And if you get that green OK button, then you're good to move forward. And also, from time to time, you will not receive a price as we did not hear, but we did receive the green box to go ahead. So we're still good to proceed as long as you don't get an error box, a pink or red box. Now, that if you have any other parts that you have to input here, you will add a second row, and it'll give you a second option to select another part there. And also, as I mentioned, that is the part submission only. And then you go down to the bottom and we will continue. But I would like to show the SI submission. The only reason is if you do have this scenario that you have to do a part and a SI or unit concession, it keeps you from submitting two claims. So let's say now we're just submitting an SI, and this is the exact procedure. Like I mentioned before, it's either the SI or a part, but it's no difference. So here we add, and the part number here becomes the model number of the serial number. So the part number becomes the model number, serial number. This is where it gets a little confusing when you do have a SI unit replacement that we don't know part number because it's supposed to be a model number, right? So you enter the model number, you also select it from the drop down. And now once you select it from the drop down, it will give you a serial replacement serial number that you need to put in there. Let me grab that serial number. I apologize for that.
No, no problem. Beauty of a test site.
Yeah, it is. It's like, it's supposed to be in there.
Are there any questions while he's pulling that up from anybody? All right, I think you're good to go.
Let me see. I believe this will be it here. Okay, that one. I apologize. I am working with two test sites, and this serial number is not wanting to populate for us. Give me. I want to see if I can get another one that it's open.
It's all good.
I guess this feature's not populating for us.
If it were to populate, would it automatically fill in
Yes,
the rest of the information?
yes, that is correct, and
Okay.
yes, and it is pretty easy, just like it was on the parts. So the rest of the information will be filled in here for us as far as the description as well, the price and the quantity. So that feature, it was not populating for some reason. I do apologize for that. So um, once that has been entered, you'll see the second line list item here, and you can select price fetch right after that as well. And this and that's a scenario doing the SI, which is a unit replacement and a part. You don't necessarily have to do two claims. And of course, just doing parts, you don't have an SI to enter, don't have a model number to enter, and so forth. The I was wanting to bring up that here where you select the part number and you get errors on it. Of course, you're not going to get the same errors I just did with that. You will actually get an error that says no records found. If it does that, uh, don't spend too much time on that error. Go ahead and send us that. Hey, I'm trying to enter this as a replacement unit and it's giving me no errors found. Please update the serial number. And that's all that we ask that you send us. And then once we update that serial number for you guys, we'll probably ask you for this account number. So you go in here and do the drop down and give us the SAP account number. What is the account you need? So give us those uh, two things, the serial number and the account number that you are working with. Once all that has been processed, the next item for these two, for the claims, is to additional information. Let me touch a little bit on the other options that we have here. We do have the non-OEM parts and the other cost details. We have really never used the non-OEM for JCH as they don't honor any non-OEM parts. These are extremely cases on parts that you are guided through tech support to use, that either they're not in the States for replacement or they're discontinued and they approve a particular part to move forward with our units. Now, JCI Factory does not approve any other like compressors for non-OEM. Here in referencing only like little either relays or electrical components on that part for non-OEM parts. Major components generally, the VRF support team basically just recommend a unit replacement if it's a larger part that our factory doesn't recommend replacing with the non-OEM part. Other cost details, I'll just pop this up, and this is the options you have. You'll have the crane cost, refrigerant cost, miscellaneous cost, additional labor. We have used a couple of these just to mention they're there for the customer, and you can submit anything that the customer is requesting. Of course, each claim goes into review. So once there is, like, let's say there's a crane cost, we'll probably reply to you, can you give us an invoice or explanation or case number if we can't find one? Why was there a claim used? Why is there submitting a claim? But those, like I mentioned, we do review each claim. We don't reject just because you selected something incorrectly. We definitely help you out through the process under the review process. And there are 30 to 45 days on the review for the claim. So just FYI. The next section is the branch distributor reference number. This is the reference number where the credit needs to be added from or moved to from your financial team from the branch. So here, if you have a project, you'd normally put the project name or the contract name here, or you can put the PO used to purchase the equipment or the part, which that would be a plus for us because we can use that PO track to validate your pricing on your credit. That's the only asterisk that we have here. Every other blank other than like PO used here, because it's a dedicated part for PO, you can enter any other information that you want us, description or dealer reference number, any of those regardless of the title. Put any messages that you want to give us as to the claim, any more additional information to support the claim that's been submitted. Here at the bottom, I mentioned that there was the upload button. Let me type in some numbers here. So once you type in your branch distributor reference number, you select save. And then this is the upload document. And as I mentioned, you get the little prompt as to where you need to look for and all that good stuff. Select the file and do open. And you can only do one file at a time. It'll be downloaded to the bottom there. Select save document and you'll see it disappeared. Once it disappeared, that means you're ready for the next document. Any questions on this submission? I understand there's a lot of little workarounds. The tutorial does give you a very good picture options on the workarounds, only because they do get a little confusing. But once you go through the full process, and it's one of those practice makes perfect, it'll go through smoothly. Any questions before I do the validate and submit?
Not seeing anything in the chat.
The other thing, other than the errors, just that I want to push before I do validate and submit, because then we'll get rid of the screen disappears on here and it gives me a different screen. Any errors that you get with the pink boxes or red boxes, just screenshot them and send them over to us. And I know I keep reiterating this, but it is important to give us that account number and your serial number. If you're doing a replacement serial number, the more information you give us on that email to troubleshoot or to help you to support you on moving forward with the claim is the failed serial number, which is the serial number you entered. If it's a replacement, it'll be the replacement serial number, and then this account, and you're up here at the bottom once you're logged in. And you select save, and then validate and submit. Once you validate and submit, sometimes some branches will get an email that has been submitted, and you will also get email whenever we are reviewing the case. You should get an email. Not everybody does. That's of course a server issue, or server, I should say, glitch. But as far as I know, everybody gets an email from us that the claim has been approved. And what I come to find out that it sometimes it does go into your trash bin also, because of the way it comes across through the servers through Solution Navigator.
Good to know.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, because there are some that I haven't seen anything, and they'll just give us the claim number, and we'll return with the credit memo for you to look at, to get to your financial team to transfer the credits. Here, as you can see, it's taking forever. You'll get the double screen on the production site that the claim has been submitted, and you'll get the claim number at the very top here, and then you're good to go. It just gives you a summary of what the claim looks like, basically. And this one doesn't want to process, but that that is what you will get. I love the live sites.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, that's, I thought I had a picture of it, but I don't. It gives you the double screen, and it'll tell you the summary of the claim. But that's pretty much it on our claim submissions. I know that we do have a lot of workarounds, and just to mention on that part, we are trying to move forward to Warranty Navigator. And that's where we're kind of like, not that we're fixing everything here, is we're really struggling to go forward on the Warranty Navigator, or not really struggling, we're really pushing to go through. We were trying to do it at the end of this year, but we're hoping that we get over there by mid-year next year. That's the goal. If any sooner, really, it would be great for us to do the Warranty Navigator. And we did. They did confirm that we're doing a streamline just like JCI, so there shouldn't be a whole lot of difference. One major difference is like when you're doing registration on our product, on the current system, you have to register as a system. In a way, it's the same for Warranty Navigator. It's just that it is not a logic that you have to do a system or you will not complete the registration. You literally can submit or register one equipment at a time. So everything ties to the address of that system, and that is how everything will tie versus the current system tells you no, you must submit every serial number at that one session. So that is a great plus for us. And then for the customer as well, they're not tied to just one session. They can actually move forward with that. So that's what we're hoping for, and it should move quicker than we expected or in the past that we were trying to push this through. Um, Other than that, everything else should flow just awesome, like Warranty Navigator.
There should be plenty of communications once that happens. And I do apologize that it will be changing, but I wanted to kind of at least line it out and show you, what to do today, in the present system. But just to kind of give you a heads up also that it will be changing down the road and should be streamlined along with Warranty Navigator, as he indicated. Are there any questions other than will there be a document provided with step-by-step directions? And I know it was a lot of information, and Richard provided a lot of workarounds and a lot of kind of, if you have any trouble whatsoever, they are more than willing to help walk through the process, answer questions. If you get hung up on something, if you need to validate a serial number, any of that information, they are more than willing to help you out. So please feel free to reach out, and I'll make sure that we get that communication information uh, distributed again. Any other questions? Okay, big thanks once again to Richard for the presentation. The recording of this meeting will be made available to you. There's a QR code with all of the previous Champion office hour sessions. Want to thank everybody for taking the time to join us. Please reach out if you think of anything later. Again, if you get hung up on something, you know how to reach us. Also, if you have suggestions or recommendations for future sessions or topics, ideas, let us know that as well. And thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.